Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese, episode 412. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Marc Augustiniak.
Hello.
Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. There are so many delays that happened this week that we can't fit them all into one show, and we're now delaying this podcast until 2023. But before we do that, we've got a couple of video games to talk about. We've got some other hot news to talk about. Of course, we're going to celebrate our Game of the Year. But to kick us off, I want to know, Marc, how are you doing in the bingo hall?
Not too hot. Not too hot.
When's the last time you've been to a bingo hall?
Never.
And what did you win?
Actually, I don't know when's the last time I've been to one. Probably... Man, yeah, I actually don't know. Weird.
Would you rather go to a bingo hall or a pool hall?
Bingo. I feel like I can
What if the jukebox was unlimited play at the pool hall?
Then, yes. So the griefer side of me would want to go to the pool hall. I wouldn't play pool. I would just only fuck with the jukebox.
I'm good with this.
Yeah. But bingo hall, I feel like I can just sit there and have some drinks. Don't have to think too hard. Just got to hear a number and splat, and then yell at Ethel across from me because she keeps winning.
It's Ethel, Bethel, and Grethel.
Yeah,
always. Matt, what's the last type of juice you put into ice cube trays and put into the freezer?
Oh. Probably Gatorade or something. I don't know. Probably the last time I did that was like 5.
More like 25. I don't... No, I probably
like
done...
5. It was like 5.
I think Kool-Aid was probably the last one I did in one of those.
I did Sunny D before.
Kool-Aid too. I don't know. Yeah.
Seems like the right thing to do. What would you do if you tomorrow had to go buy an ice cube tray full of some liquid? What liquid would you want?
G Fuel.
Nice. Okay, how about this? What if you make G Fuel ice cubes out of one flavor and then put those into a different G Fuel flavor? Which two flavors would you combine? Have you combined powders yet?
Have you
not
have
yet,
you died yet?
Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I was just about to say maybe mix. We talked about this earlier in the week. Coke with lime.
Oh my god, dude!
Let's throw that in some ice cube trays.
All right, Marc. You've got two options. One, you can revive a dead soda flavor. B, you can combine any flavor with Coca-Cola and have it be an official product. Would you rather bring one back from the dead or make your own Coke flavor that's a real product on the shelves? And which flavor would that be?
I'd bring one back.
Okay, what are you bringing back?
Pepsi Twist.
Pepsi Twist was the lemon one, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Mix that with Coke Lime.
Oh, there you go.
Then you get...
Well, then you got to bring back Coke Lime too, though. Because the only way you can get it now is from one of those garbage freestyle machines, and we know...
Then you just get, like, Sprite with Coke and Pepsi.
Well,
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. We just created Coke with Sprite because lemon and lime.
True.
But with Pepsi.
Have you guys had Sprite with ginger yet?
No.
No,
I'm not a
yeah.
big
Came out last
Sprite
year.
drinker.
I'm not a big ginger
I got back
drinker.
into Sprite this year, and I'm very happy to report it rules.
Is it because of LeBron James?
No, I remember he
might
was
not
in all
even
those
sponsor
Sprite
it. I don't even know.
cranberry. He was in the Sprite cranberry commercials for a long time around Christmas. I did not try Sprite cranberry. No, I had the Sprite ginger last year from the Coca-Cola Insiders Club thing that I did, and I quite liked it. And then forgot about Sprite, and then we're right now in a flux period of Coke is kind of not really on shelves the way, like we're kind of mid 2020 again, where it's like you can maybe get some flavors you want, but maybe not. So I saw Sprite, and it was like a thing where as long as you're buying more than 3, they're like $3 for a 12 pack. And I was like, well, I could do some Sprite Zero, give that a hot shot. Turns out, pretty dang. Tell you what else is pretty dang. Devil May Cry 5, which is the video game we're talking about this week for our Game of the Year as we go through the 25 top 5 games of each of the last 5 years of our Game of the Year discussions. We've reached Devil May Cry 5. This was an early draw a TM up on the board Marc game. Not because it was not something that any of us could appreciate, but I had never played one in the series simply because there are 4 other ones, plus the reboot, that I had never played and felt like I shouldn't. So I know Marc was very excited about this one initially, but then it hit Game Pass, and we all ended up playing it. And I quite liked it. But Marc, tell us all about Devil May Cry 5. How did you feel about it then? How do you feel about it now?
My feelings haven't changed from before, during, and after. I think that is a game with just good energy, like right from the start. Like it tells you what it's about immediately, and it doesn't let up really. Like it's a little bit of, I wouldn't say backtracking, but you do replay multiple scenarios with different characters, so you get their perspective on it, and then see how they meet up. So the variety in like level design is a little samey. Not, it's not too much there, but I think it makes up for it with its gameplay, like its core gameplay and the soundtrack and the personalities of the characters, how it all meshes together. And yeah, pretty good payoff, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. And quite a challenge. Like, even though you have kind of like samey stuff throughout it, it's still like you can get more creative with it, right? Or you know what I mean? Like it depends on the moves you upgrade and incorporate into your repertoire. Matt, how did you land on? Let's call it Dark Souls 5. Sorry, Demons May Cry 5. How did you like that one?
In the year 2030, when that game comes out, that will be a terrific one. But Devil May Cry 5, I only played I wanted to say more than an hour, but it was probably only an hour. First couple levels, at least. I enjoyed it a lot. I think I played it so late in the year that I just didn't have time, and I was trying to force in as much stuff as I could see before voting commenced. But no, I liked it a lot. I think I liked the dope soundtrack. The characters are ridiculous, but in like good kind of ridiculous. And Joe, to what you were saying, it's the kind of follow of that, like the creativity with the combat, with allowing you to, when you upgrade moves and how you incorporate that. But I mean, every other Devil May Cry game has done this. This isn't revolutionary, but the grading system on your combat, right? Like, clearing with C's is cool, but isn't it way cooler clear with like an A or an S, or was it like a triple S ranking you can go up to or something like that?
Yeah, like super sexy, stylish.
Yeah,
right.
So like, there is replayability built into this game for those that want to commit to this. All the way to make it like a perfect run to get the triple S. So I think there's so many things built into it that it elevates itself above your traditional just hack and slash action game. And like I said, the characters are ridiculous, and yeah, it's the 5th game, and I'm sure I missed a couple references. But like from the start, I didn't feel like completely left out. I felt like I was following the story quite well, so I thought it was actually a decent jumping in point. And then finally, the last point. This was made on the RE engine, and was a technical showpiece for that engine. Was it like one? It was probably the first game after RE6, right?
7, but
sorry,
yeah,
7. Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant.
And it's funny because I noticed that like now looking back at it, I can see a lot of like similar assets used between both games. Kind of like how, like when enemies crumble, it's similar to like the mold being like all shriveled up, and it was cool just seeing stuff like that.
I mean, I think we were impressed with that engine after seeing it with 7, and then like when they brought it again here, and we really saw how impressive Devil May Cry 5 looked, and it just made us excited, and we hope that Capcom put everything in that engine, which they're starting to do.
Yeah, little by little, every game is running in that.
Hey, runs on Switch.
Yeah, who would have thunk? Yeah, I keep thinking about going back to it because there's a Series X upgrade, or not upgrade, but like a whatever. Yeah, something like that. and I liked it. And man, I still every couple months remember the song Devil Trigger and put it on and just jam, get real wet to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like Matt said, you can kind of jump in, they fill you in, you're not really lost at all. Like, I think there's some stuff you could probably appreciate had you followed this saga all the way through, but it not only like made me want to see what comes next, but like I don't know, I really came to appreciate what Devil May Cry is and that style of game, because we don't get many like that anymore. I feel like there was an era where you got stuff like that, probably because of the original Devil May Cry, and you don't anymore. And yeah, I want more of it.
What's left? What, Bayonetta?
Yeah, and they're never making that game, so
Also, this game had like a perfect length to it.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't like super short, and it wasn't over welcoming like its stay either.
Yeah, I want more now, having been removed from it. But when it ended, I was like, yeah, good. I'm ready to do the next thing.
Mark, and then you mentioned about like the level design and the scenery around you is the same, but I didn't get far enough. But from the initial little combat I played, I thought there was decent enemy variety, at least to make up for it, and that's what matters. That way, you're not doing the same square over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, like the enemy stuff was cool and whatever, but everything was just covered in like that weird like red like flesh stuff, whatever. And it was like, okay. I mean, I story-wise, it makes sense. Like, I get it, but it just started to blur together for me. But, I mean, that's fine. Every game has to lack in something, right? And it makes up for it in all the other stuff. So, I'd rather have the gameplay over level design any day.
So, where do we rank Devil May Cry 5? Right now, for listeners, while Matt and Mark look at our list, I'll read it down for you. We've got Tetris Effect, Doom, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Hitman, Splatoon 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Celeste, The Last Guardian, and Super Mario Odyssey. Where does Devil May Cry 5 land?
Man, I don't know if
I've
I'm
got
going to be
I
the one
want to
that's
say
like...
at least above Celeste.
Dude, I love where our gut reactions are. Mark, where are you at?
above Tony.
What? Above Tony?
We're going up.
Whoa! See, all right, I was with Matt. I was like, I could put this above Fire Emblem, but I don't know
said
about
at
Splatoon
least.
2.
I was open for arguments.
Yeah.
And Mark,
all right.
we have an argument.
Above Tony.
I didn't play Fire Emblem, so that's indifferent to me. I can't have that conversation. I can have the
this
Hitman
is
conversation.
our list, right? So we've got to all come to a consensus. It's because it's the three of us together.
Well, yeah,
so,
I know that. I'm just saying, like, I can't. I don't know how to argue that.
well, I was gonna put Devil May Cry right above Fire Emblem, but below Splatoon. But let's get talking here. So let's think. See, Splatoon 2, raw, vanilla, wet Splatoon 2 is great, but I loved Splatoon 2. I love the multiplayer in that game, all aspects of it. But I really loved the Octo expansion. I know. Just stay with me. But the Octo expansion is really, for me, where Splatoon 2 shines. And when we're talking vanilla Splatoon 2 on this list, which is, where... Hitman, though. Like, I feel like I could put Devil May Cry 5 above Splatoon 2. But Hitman... Oof.
Well, I thought we weren't judging on vanilla. I thought we were judging on where they are at now as part of this, as a whole package.
Yeah, as I was saying it, I was remembering that too. I just hope nobody caught me. I
mean, I'm fine wherever, honestly. Like, I'm not gonna go
I'll
tooth
put
and
it
nail
above
about
Splatoon
it.
2.
I just thought
I'd put it above Splatoon 2. It's hard to get it
Yeah.
past Hitman for me. It's definitely hard to get it past Tony Hawk for me.
I just appreciate the game for its, just for I don't know, it's just like one package, this one experience. It hits everything for me right there. I don't really need the replay value for it to impact me either. Like, it's just, I'm fine with just the one playthrough, honestly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wouldn't mind going back either.
I
But
mean, I talked about Devil May Cry's replayability, but I think that's one of Hitman's biggest arguing points, right? Like, you can literally go into the save level and have 99 different scenarios play out, and you're probably just touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how you can maneuver and take out your target in that level or your objectives, because some of them have objectives. So, yeah, I'm fine with it above Splatoon 2. I would argue, I don't know about Hitman.
All right, we can do that. I think it's just because, like, for me, it's just a preference. Like, I just like action games more than these other ones.
Sure.
So it takes a little more patience for me with those, and I just can't really get into it like that.
I saw you play Hitman in Colorado. You had plenty of patience mowing down an entire army in a house.
And that's it. That was the only time.
If anything, the console wasn't patient enough with you as it kept dropping frames.
True.
Yeah.
Do we feel good about between Splatoon and Hitman, or
I do.
Mark, I'm open for arguments.
I'm okay with it, honestly. I don't know. I just thought, I don't know. It's just the energy of Devil May Cry 5. I appreciate so much. And
it has energy. It has a lot of it.
Hitman doesn't really have energy. It's like
swag.
Yeah, it's very sophisticated, and you just got to take your time with it. But
I understand.
It's not really a knock against it. It's just preference of taste.
But no,
really.
you're right.
Yeah, they're two different.
Think of your, but also think of your first playthrough in both games, right? Devil May Cry,
Yeah.
I definitely was very much running at the enemy and whatever. How long did it take us to scope some of those areas using the vision, like the detective vision or whatever the hell it's called in this game?
Yeah, it's very
plotting.
slow. So
It even
it's
took,
like almost
3 times.
methodical.
Yeah, I mean that's the name of
Mark's
the game.
kind of
there.
convincing me to put it above Hitman.
That's fine with me.
Hitman don't have Devil Trigger. Keep that in mind.
Well, neither.
Yeah, but
All right.
Neither do any of these games. So
True.
So we
True.
put it above Tetris, is what.
whoa.
Hey.
I mean Tetris have music though.
All right, I'm putting it in above.
Doom has music too. Hold on, wait. Smash has music.
I mean, if you want to go there, Smash has all of the music that's ever existed.
Tony Hawk has music. Really, this is turned into best soundtrack.
Best sound, yeah, exactly. All right, putting Devil May Cry 5 above Hitman, locking it in.
Well, hell, in that case, should I use my card to put Splatoon 2 above Hitman because of the soundtrack?
If you want to
No,
use
I'm
your
not
card,
doing that. I'm not.
and
No,
make
no, we're
I know,
we're
I'm
hanging
holding
on to
on.
that boy. We're hanging on to that boy. We got at least like 10 more weeks before I use that card.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
All
fine.
right.
Unless you do something real dirty.
Believe me, I've got plenty of plans to get this thing real greasy before the end of the year. We've got plenty of time. No one's knocking on death's door yet, except Mark. I think you have been knocking on death's door with the imminent release of Death's Door.
Yeah, it's been knocking around here and there. Been trying to, just keep my job as a Reaper going, trying to collect those souls. Because if I don't, then I'm not invincible anymore. So they say.
So you play as Death. I did not realize that you were Death in this game. Is this similar to Death Jr. at all? Is this a platformer? What type of game are we talking here?
They made it seem like there are like a bunch of Reapers. It's like a full-time job. You clock in, and then you got to go collect your assigned soul. But if it gets away from you, which is the premise of this whole thing, is that like one got away from you, and if you don't catch it, then you start to become mortal, and you will start to age. And so, you're like this little crow, right, going around, and you run into like this big ass crow that like knocks you out, but then he tells you what's going on basically, and like he's trying to. There's this, you go through all these doors to different worlds, but there's like this one big door which is Death's Door, but it needs a requirement of so many souls to open it, and it took. Like, the one that you were trying to get, it took from you because it thought it was going to be enough to open it, but it wasn't. And so this is where the game really opens up. But before that, you're kind of going in feeling how the game, how it works. It's not really a tutorial, but it is a tutorial. But it's very intuitive how it does it. It's not like holding your hand really. But it's very simple controls. You have a button for rolling. You have a typical slash attack, trigger. Playing with the controller. Trigger is your charge attack, and that's. Oh, and then you have a bow and arrow. But the arrow, it's like energy, and you get 4 shots at least right now, and you have to attack. You have to hit something to fill it back up. And so I thought that was cool. Maybe that's a nod to their other game, because these are the same developers of Titan Souls. And that was pretty hardcore.
I was going to ask, after you were done your initial kind of thing here, if this feels similar to that. I never played Titan Souls either, but I didn't know if you knew if it felt similar to that game or not.
Only there's some essences here and there, but honestly, this just feels more like a Zelda game than anything. I know from like a distance, there's like the Dark Souls comparison because of how you're traversing the land, and there is a soul currency. But that's pretty much it, I feel.
Is this game harder like Titan Souls? That could be your other comparison.
I mean, the boss fights remind me of it for sure, because Titan Souls just felt like a big boss rush kind of thing, and this kind of has that, but you definitely can go exploring, and as you're traversing, you're unlocking new shortcuts, so you don't have to keep treading the same ground to get to where, if you died, backtracking isn't as painstaking. You just, there's a ladder I finally put down, so I can just climb up that instead, cut through all this stuff, and get right to where I was. You don't lose any of your souls if you die. It's nothing like that. So that's cool. But the souls currency, it's whenever you come back to the hub world, which is your place of work. You'll go to the guy at a desk, and you'll have to spend points for your stats. And I think they're in increments. Ooh, actually I don't know, because you have 4 or 5 stats. Your typical, strength, speed, dexterity, whatever. But each one costs, the first bubble costs 400 souls. And then once you pay for that, the next tier is 600 souls. So I don't know if it's going to keep going up by increments of 200 or not.
Is that just for that stat line, or just in general? Every time you level, it just costs more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in general.
Another Dark Souls element. All right, just proceed.
But it takes a lot to get these souls too. You can find orbs here and there if you're finding secret spots, and they'll give you a little boost. But you don't have a stamina bar. You don't have to really worry about that. But you can increase your speed for your attacks. So there is still some timing you do have to consider. But yeah, so that big crow who was telling you what's going on, you decided to help him try to open this door. So in sort of like a Zelda way, he names you 4 or 3 other areas of the map to go exploring and to take down these big bosses. But of course, you each have their own area to explore through and whatever. It's not really a dungeon, because you kind of go in and out throughout these places, but they are differently themed areas. So he recommended me to go north, which is called, I think it's called the Witch's Urn or something like that. It's a very autumn looking, nice Victorian garden type area. And you eventually reach a mansion. But I haven't been able to no, you go through a dungeon, then you go through the garden, then you find a mansion. I'm stuck in the mansion because I do not know how to solve this puzzle. There are pots you can break, but they reform themselves. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. But I ran into this cool character. He looks like a knight or a warrior type, but his head got replaced with a cauldron. And his name is Pothead. So his collar is like all the wood, and then his head is the cauldron, and he's filled with soup. And he's like, hey, if you help me like unlock these gates, like we can go fight this witch together. So he just becomes your ally pretty quickly. You don't see him fighting anyone though. He's always like, oh, I'll meet you at the next point. You seem like you know what you're doing. Like, I'll let you take care of this, and I'll just meet you there. So it's always been that so far. He offered soup to me, but the crow declines. You don't get a choice. The crow.
Yeah, good.
Oh, this game sucks.
Yeah, game
0
of the year,
out of 10.
2021. I'll tell you what's going to make it to the top of this game of the year list next year.
You find different weapons too.
Always decline soup. That's the...
The worst fucking move in the world.
Oh, it's the best thing you could do.
But like all the enemy designs and stuff, like they're really cool, really creative, so far. But yeah, there is weapon variety, and you can switch between it on the go. Just you have a little menu for it. A la, I guess also Zelda. But so far, you have your typical broadsword. You can do a 3/ combo, and you can charge it up to do a strike. Or if you do your rolling, you can do that into a strike, or roll that into the charge attack. To the charge attack strike, which makes it vertical instead of horizontal. I found the umbrella. Kind of same thing. Like it gives you the stats on like how much better it could be. It gives you the speed, the strength, whatever. It's not much different from the sword. Kind of fights the same way, but I just found a pair of daggers. And yeah, obviously they're quicker and weaker than the sword. But I don't know. I'm not too great with them. I think I'm just gonna stick with the sword for now. But it seems like there's only 2 more slots left that are empty for me. So I guess there's only 2 more weapons I can find. I don't know what they are.
You've sold me on this game. This is my next thing after I wrap up Dark Souls. This is like,
yeah, like
it looks really good, but I didn't know anything about it really.
Yeah, it's like a little bit more of like a fleshed out like Zelda-like game, basically. Yeah. Because like there are some puzzles, but not too many. It's more so. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. There are puzzles. Like there was a cool one where, in order to unlock all these series of doors, I had to keep shooting with the arrow. I had to shoot it through fire to light different torches, and I had to keep going through that and to like light so many torches before I could make a pathway. So yeah, there's still a lot to figure out. I think I'm only like maybe 10% into this game.
Oh, how long have you played it?
Let's see. I have Steam up. I have only played 85 minutes worth.
Okay, so yeah, it's a good.
But if you're thinking there's probably like 4 big bosses before, and without assuming there's like a final like Ganon equivalent or something, yeah, I mean it's going to probably take a little bit. I mean the worlds are pretty neat to explore from what I can imagine. So far I've only been through like 2 areas, and the cool thing is that you will unlock these little doors that will always bring you back to the hub world. So in the hub world, you can go through all these different doors, so you don't have to keep traversing the long way. So you'll have multiple shortcuts to all these different areas as you're progressing. So it keeps things convenient.
I dig that.
Yeah, the only, if there's anything that like it's hard for me to like not focus on, is some of the visuals. Like I think it's nice overall. It's really great presentation, but I couldn't help but notice like when I'm walking around. First of all, if you're playing on PC, turn VSync off immediately. Your character stutters if you have that on. But like everything around me, it was weird. It had like a weird like warping, wavy, very like light motion to it as I'm walking around, and I thought that was just the effect of the hub world, because the hub world is like all like noir, black and white, like grayscale type thing, and then it's all color when you're in the other worlds. But the other worlds are also kind of doing this effect, and it was hard for me to like not be fixated on it. Kind of like those books with the patterns. You stare at them long enough, and then you start to see an image. I was like,
it's a schooner.
Yeah, it's a tugboat, dumbass. No. I could never do those, but like it wasn't to like that severity where like I could start to see shapes or something. But there's something about moving around the map where like the map itself didn't feel completely smooth. The character did, but I think it's something to do with the camera. I don't know. It's a little odd, but it's just me being nitpicky. But this game's been being constantly updated since day one. Like, it had trouble with controller support at first, and they fixed that like within the week that it came out. Like, so they seem to be pretty on top of stuff. Not many bugs. I had it like maybe in the very, very beginning, but not since then. Like, nothing game breaking, nothing crashing, nothing. The character didn't get stuck, didn't have to restart or anything like that.
No, I'm in, dude. It's got like a perfect little spooky vibe to it. This is me all over it.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
So you've traded Skyward Sword for Death's Door.
Yeah, I have.
I've read a lot more about Skyward Sword this week and was watching some videos and stuff, and like, it seems like if you're gonna play Skyward Sword, this is the version to play.
Mm-hmm.
But it still wasn't enough to hold you.
I'm just not in the right mind for that game.
Yeah, you kind of said that last week.
Yeah, it's hard.
I get it. You've got to be in the mood for certain types of games, like Dark Souls. I was in the mood for it, and now I have it, and I'm still in the mood for it. But what I've been doing with Dark Souls has changed a little bit this week, where last week I was kind of getting my feet wet. Now it is, I play until I get to a boss, and I'm only on the second boss, so it's not like I haven't made like a repetitious pattern of this. But I kind of did that, explored the area, for some hours until I got to the boss. And when I stumbled on the boss, now my gameplay sessions are, I will sit down and I kind of just randomly have a number in my head. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 15. I'm going to try the boss this many times. And if I don't get it, I'm just going to walk away and go do something else. I'm going to go make dinner. I'm going to go, who cares? Whatever. But I sit down and I'm like, today feels like a 15 day. You know what I mean? I will throw myself at this thing 15 times. And actually, I don't think I've done that with the second boss, but I'm on the Moonlight Butterfly now. Which,
Ew.
Oh,
Okay.
Why are you showing me that face? Am I not supposed to be there?
No, you just went a different direction, that's all.
Oh.
That's fine. No, that's the beauty of this game, man.
Yeah. I did go down the thing and found the Icemen again, those big old glacier boys. But there was off in the distance, there was some water, and there were like tentacles coming out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here or not.
Probably
I'm not. Okay, good. So I went back. So yeah, I found the Moonlight Butterfly, and it's a pretty easy boss. Like, it's not an engaging boss, but so 2 things. It shoots out a couple of different attacks. One is this like 3 beams that just kind of slowly move towards you. They're very easy to roll out of the way of. The other are quick little it's 6. It's 2 waves of 3, and they come very quickly, and they're like homing. So I will often roll out of the way and still get hit by one. Your shield does nothing against these unless there's some magic shield that I don't know about.
Or you don't have a leveled up one.
Yeah. But those are kind of whatever. Like the 6 shot is the one that kind of like always chip damages you. There's a long beam that, depending on where you're at, is pretty easy to get away from. It's not the end of the world. The problem is when you get it below half health, it fires this ball. And it's an arching ball that lands and then just is a big mine. And usually by the time that thing hits, I've already used enough of my Estus flasks and I have no way to recover. And then the chip damage stuff becomes a real problem because I don't have any way to recover from that. The best I can think to do, and I've been doing it, it's been somewhat successful, is so the butterfly, because it's ranged, I don't really have a ranged weapon that I can use, or I did, but I used all the arrows, so whoops. The best I can think to do is the butterfly will land at some point, and that's where you can get your hits in. It will do that. I will go 2-handed and just wail away at it as much as possible. But I feel like now at this point, my weapon is way wore down, so I need to backtrack and go to the blacksmith to have him repair, and I don't want to do it. It's still fun though, man. I love this game. It's still very moody and atmospheric and weird, and it's everything you do has to be intentional. And it's that thing where, like, I first played Bloodborne, and you're like, this is too hard. And you just stick with it. And it's the same thing here, where, like, I didn't feel like this game has been too hard yet, but it definitely has that, like, oh right, everything I do has a consequence, and I need to think my actions through. And then you hit a point where, like, you don't have to think it through, right? Like, you're just like, I got this. And then you suddenly don't got this, and then that's Dark Souls. And Matt, you've been playing more of 2 a little bit, right?
Yeah, that game fucking is hard as balls.
Harder than the original?
I got confirmation from one Ben Barris that game's harder. Yeah, I think it's the heals. Because they changed the system. You don't start with your 5 or your 10, depending on that first bonfire Firelink. With those Estus flags, you have to, like, earn them. They're like a thing you find. It's like you find a shard and you take it to a person and they give you another, like, drink of the flask. So, at the beginning of the game, you have 0, and you're using these things called life gems, which are consumables, much like your blood vials in Bloodborne, where once you use it, it's done. You can't refill it. You just have to keep finding it out in the world. So I'm, like, very cautious about using them. But, like, I think it's the heals, because, like, I don't want to overcommit to a heal, using all that currency until I'm, like, comfortable in that area where I feel like I can make major progress if I do commit. So, like, it's a lot of going with half health, and that's the other part. In this game, hollowing has another consequence. If you put yourself in human form, your health bar goes all the way up. If you hollow, every time you die as hollow, your health bar slowly shrinks to the halfway mark, which is the hollowed mark in Demon Souls. So that's a familiar, not a foreign concept. They've done it before, but yeah, when you have just such a low health bar and you start to get into some of these areas, and especially these gank heavy areas where, like, I just feel like there's always an enemy behind a wall in this game, and, like, in the other games have that, Bloodborne, Dark, like, they all have that, right? But I just feel like it's every corner, and I'm just, like, cautiously going. And I got to a part, I did beat that boss I was stuck on last week. It took me a long time, probably longer than it should have, but I got through it. I got to another area, I kept going through it, and it felt like I got to the boss, but it was just like, there's a lot going on here. I don't know if I should be here yet. So I found another way in the other spot that you start the game, which was originally my wrong way. I ended up, that kind of might be the right way now that the way I'm playing it and how things have progressed. But as you're it just feels like every step there's going to be like 2 dudes that jump out of a wall or something, and I don't know. Part of it feels kind of cheap, and like. The other games they had it, yeah, it felt cheap, but you kind of get used to it. But it's just like it's every corner. Like, I'm in this I think it's called Old Man's Wharf area. Oh my god! From the first bonfire all the way up the hill, for those that know the area, it is just gank city. Like literally every step, I'm like turning the camera to see, and I see someone's like feet and sword like. Ugh. Poking out behind the wall or inside of a building around the room. Like, it is everywhere. It took me like 20 minutes to get to the point where I died, and now, like, when I go back to the bonfire, I think, damn, I gotta go through all of that again, and it's like, ugh.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it's like one of those things, like the last boss I had to do, or that I beat, there's a pretty quick path from bonfire to boss, but every now and then, some of those guys that jump out, I could just run past most of them, but sometimes there were moments where they would, like, just take a step too early and, get the best of me, and then, I'm screwed before I can get back. But, yeah, if you've got to run through that whole chunk every time you die.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know where it leads. There's definitely got to be like a shortcut somewhere. It just seems too big of an area not to have it. It's just a matter of getting to that shortcut or whatever. And in this area is kind of like the first time you start to see non-human like enemies. So there's a switch in the kind of the pattern of combat a little bit. So it is what it is. I still am enjoying it. I haven't played it that much because another game has consumed my week and probably my life for the next couple months. But yeah, it's more Dark Souls, but I will say with confidence, this is at least starting a lot harder than the first Dark Souls, and even Bloodborne, I would say. Although that first burning bonfire area in Bloodborne is very hard too.
Yeah, So one thing that happened when Dark Souls came to Switch that they had the amiibo, but they did not do anything else crossover wise. And I've thought about this for a while. If you could re-release Dark Souls but have it cross over with another game, which game would you want to see show up in Dark Souls?
I had an answer for this earlier, and I don't remember it. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, I took the question very differently.
How did you take it? Go for it. Answer it in your own way.
I thought you meant like conceptually.
Oh.
And it was like, what game would you want to see with like a Dark Souls like type of like gameplay style, I guess?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, tell me that one too.
That's how I was thinking of it too, Mark, because I don't know the answer.
I was thinking Donkey Kong.
Oh man.
Just the way you would traverse throughout that island.
Oh, you're thinking Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, it all just be seamless.
I'm thinking Donkey Kong Arcade reimagined as a Dark Souls.
No, Country.
You find one hammer every now and then.
No,
that's pretty good too.
The boss fights would be so grand.
Yes, that would be very good. Somebody should make that. Somebody make a Dreams game out of that. That's doable, right?
Okay, but you were saying. But your actual question was crossing over in like what? Like if you scan like an amiibo, like what would pop up in Dark Souls?
Sure, yeah. I guess like if you were putting Dark Souls out on Switch, which franchise? What would you like to see? Kind of, you know what I mean? Like Fatal Frame had a Zero Suit Samus skin in that Wii U game or the Wii U game. So I don't know, something like that.
Okay, well, you scan a Donkey Kong amiibo. And you'll just get these giant gorilla gauntlets.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm
Punch
in,
shit
dude.
Out of everything. Yep.
There needs to be more like that in video games now. We don't have enough dumb stuff like
it's
that.
offense and defense,
Yeah. Bring them all together. Matt, is there anything you would want to see brought into Dark Souls?
I did the same thing as Mark for my original answer.
What was your original answer?
I want the Pokemon Legends Arceus game to go full-on gritty Dark Souls.
That'd be good if that was an actual
put me out
challenging...
in the fucking wild. When I get to the haunted town, just let the Gengars kill me time and time again, or whatever Pokemon I have. I would get down with a Pokemon game like that.
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer though for the other.
I think that was a good answer for interpreting that question. I also kind of asked that because we're getting a different crossover. Friday, July 30th, Capcom released a new update for Monster Hunter Rise that provides a new reward for an event quest. It's a new Ami costume, which is a layered armor set for your Palamute that makes your dog buddy look like Amaterasu from Okami. It's cool. Did you guys take a look at it? Did you see the picture of this?
Mm-hmm. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, pretty neat. This is after the first collaboration with other Capcom properties was Monster Hunter Stories 2 tie-in to Monster Hunter Rise. Now we're getting Okami, and then developers said we can expect more to come in the future. I'm excited about that. I want to see more. I hope they do some Nintendo exclusive stuff, but I don't know that they will because this game's coming to PC at some point. Not that would stop them, but
yeah.
We knew this from E3, right? Or is this?
We knew that we were getting new Capcom stuff, but not specifics.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Around E3 is when they said the Monster Hunter Stories 2 stuff, but they didn't say anything about what Capcom stuff. In the past, they've done Resident Evil tie-ins, Mega Man tie-ins. They've done some stuff like that. I think Dante has shown up and stuff like that. So
didn't Aloy show up in World? Yeah.
Yeah, Aloy was
They did a Zelda crossover too.
Yeah, which
even with Monster Hunter Stories also did one.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
Nice.
You could have your character, I think, dress up as like Skyward Sword Link.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I want that. I actually Monster Hunter Generations. That one's on Switch now too. It's been out for a while. That one had a lot of Nintendo crossover stuff, but it was stuff that you couldn't get until like way higher rank, and I never played that game long enough to get there, which maybe I should go back to that one at this point. Yeah, I played some NieR Reincarnation, which is out now for iOS and Android devices in America. I played the Japanese release a little while ago, but it was not... I could get my way through the menus and understand a little bit of it, but not enough. You need that game to be localized. So NieR Reincarnation, you play as an unnamed protagonist who has lost their voice. Mama is your companion. Mama is a ghost. And when you look, occasionally there's little things that Mama does where you can see little black arms come out that look like a shadow. So I think it might be some type of shadow that's hiding beneath this white sheet. But it very much looks like a little cute, McDonald's toy ghost. You travel through the cage, which is just kind of this, like, you walk through an area and then you make your way upstairs, and each floor is like the one I'm in now. It's like very much like a sand temple. It was giving me like a cross between the sand temple in or was the sand temple? What was the one in Ocarina?
It might be called Spirit.
Yeah, Spirit Temple, where they're, in the Gerudo Valley.
Yeah.
Kind of vibes between that and Metroid Prime 3, where it had some of those, like, kind of ancient sky temple stuff.
What genre is this game?
Yeah.
NieR?
So, you move through the stage kind of like NieR, but it's very linear. Like, you're not really choosing path. You can choose a path, but really there's a right and a wrong answer for where you walk to, and you can there's literally an auto button in the top right where you can just let the character auto run and get to the next battle. But the battles
like behind you, or it's like side scrolling.
It's, I think, like NieR, where it's like very much pulled back.
Okay.
But the camera will dynamically move as you work your way through the stage. So sometimes it looks 2D, sometimes it's 3D,
which NieR is known for.
Yeah. So, you make your way through the cage, and you are recovering lost weapons in this game. So each weapon is imbued with a story, and completing each chapter for each weapon gives you a little bit more of the story overall. So each weapon kind of belonged to a warrior or to a person or something, and as you interact with that weapon, you're uncovering its story. The first weapon shows you the tale of this bounty hunter, and it's very Wild West style. You see like his history with his little companion. The second shows you the tale of two sisters who go through some trouble, and their hometown is burned down. So you move the character to new areas. You have an on-screen circle pad that you kind of move through. Occasionally you'll see like a secret in the background, and they're little black birds. You can tap on a black bird and unlock like bonus whatevers, gems or bonus weapon upgrade shards or whatever. But generally the game's pretty linear in that regard. And then you encounter scarecrows, which are these big kind of gangly like black statues, and you interact with one of them, and that's how you like get into the next weapon chapter, is by fighting a scarecrow. As you talk to the scarecrow or interact with it, a big shadow flies out of it, and then it cuts into a battle scene. And the battle scene is you on your team have up to 3 characters that are kind of auto battling with the enemies that are on the screen. And sometimes those enemies come in waves. Like you'll have like most fights I'm doing now are 3 waves, and it's usually 3 waves of 3 enemies. Maybe there's one big enemy at the end. But I also jacked up my one of my characters with the like auto upgrade currency stuff that you get or whatever. So one character is way overpowered. So like when you're going into battles, it says that your recommended power level for your team should be like 2,000. Mine is 15,000. So I'm just kind of wiping through this game. The battle's automated, and you do have input on which attacks each of your character can execute when their meter fills for each one. You have 2 sub attacks and 1 super attack, and you can configure what your character lineup is, who your characters are. So as you complete each of those chapters, you're unlocking weapons and you're unlocking characters. So like the Wild West cowboy guy from the first story is part of my party now. One of the sisters is part of my party now. And then you unlock their weapons, and each weapon has an affinity to it. So wind, fire, dark, etc. You can eventually unlock companions for your characters too. So like I have a teddy bear that's imbued with fire, and that teddy bear can be equipped to somebody as just like it's not a sub weapon, but it's just kind of like this will boost certain attacks by having it equipped or whatever. The mobile part of this game comes in the way that you unlock currency to unlock new weapons and new characters and level up each of your characters and weapons. So a lot of this you find in the world. Some of it you find by completing quests. Some of it you find by completing sub-quests. A lot of it you can buy with your dollars. Right now, there's a launch promotion that integrates NieR Automata to the world. So you get to a certain point where you can go to Mama's room, and in Mama's room, you can either return to the main story or you can spin off into these doorways that have sub-quests. One of those doorways right now is the NieR Automata crossover, and by going in there, you see there's all these like chapters that you can jump into. It's kind of like it's a 9S and 2B sub-story that happened somewhere in NieR Automata that we didn't actually play through. It's like set in the timeline there, but not in the timeline. And then of course through the gacha stuff, you can spend some of your whatever tickets to roll the dice and try and get one of the characters. So I got A2 and 2B at this point pretty easily and leveled them up quite a bit. So I've kind of got them in my party. You also, by completing the NieR tie-in stuff, the NieR Automata tie-in stuff, you can unlock special currency that you can just say, hey, I want 9S. And I've completed all the chapters for the NieR Automata stuff, so here's my NieR Automata money to buy 9S. So that's kind of cool that you can do it that way. It's neat. It's something I'll probably check in with for a little bit and then forget that it's on my phone after a while. I kind of liked that Sinnoh Alice game. This kind of feels like that in a different way. Like I don't know. It still feels like there's a lot of mobile stuff underneath, but at the surface, this feels like a NieR game, so that's kind of cool. Presentation-wise, like those cutscenes, those flashbacks to the Wild West guy and all that, a lot of them are done with very simple animation, so you can tell like budget was spent on other things, but it still looks good. I think it fits well for like a storybook kind of thing. I'm having a good time with it. I think that, if you're looking for something to do on your phone, this is a good one of those. But if you're looking for the next big thing in NieR, it's not quite there, but it still has some elements of it. I don't want to say it's completely lacking in that, because there's of course the despair and the tragedy and all that stuff that happens. The fact that your character doesn't have a voice and there's this little ghost, like I'm sure things are going to play out. And the hook for it, the fact that like you can go to Mama's room and jump into side quests at any time, that very much seems to me like it's setting up for like endless crossovers and promote, like, you know what I mean? The same way that Shin Megami Tensei can have you summon the demon known as Sonic the Hedgehog, they can do stuff like that in this, where you could easily have a crossover with whatever's popular right now. And yeah,
because they're gonna have to keep dumping content for you to keep coming back, for you to keep buying weapons. So you can't have a finite, structure to it if you're trying to keep dumping, trying to get currency and purchases and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think in Japan there was already a Sinnoh Alice tie-in. I don't know what else they've done over there, but it's neat. I think it's a fun game. Not too bad. Speaking of neat, before we hit a break, this popped up, I think, probably before last episode, but I wanted to bring it up this week. There's a hacker, and I mean that in the positive sense, not all this negative connotivity that people get now. But this is @HackerVilela on Twitter, released on July 21st. Super Mario World widescreen and extra wide, available for download via their GitHub. This is Vitor Vilela, I believe is the full name. They do a lot of SNES ROM hacks, and the most recent one here is straight up widescreen support for Super Mario World that runs in 16:10, 16:9, 18:9, and 18.5:9 if you're one of those folks. This is just such a weird project, dude. Like it's cool, super cool. Same hacker is working on getting. I think the next projects are. So they've already done. Nope, sorry. They're working on next Metroid, Super Mario Kart, F-Zero widescreen, and Star Fox. So a lot more of the first party SNES stuff is coming along. You kind of use the original ROM and then patch it with the tools available on GitHub. And I believe people are starting to make this stuff available on the Mister and other, like, people are getting this out there. It's super cool. But it makes me wonder, do you think there's potential for stuff like this? Like, do you think someone could expand this for easier application to other games? And which platforms do you think could benefit the most from seeing 16:9 conversions or modernization of games?
I mean, almost anything could benefit from this. It's like anything before the HDMI era. I mean, honestly, because all that stuff was 4:3, and there are like with Super Mario World, they're just passionate, so that way is like it looks crisp on 16:9. Or are they expanding like what you can see on the map? They're
expanding what you can see. Yeah. So they're actually like interpolating the data before it happens. Because like all of those levels are laid out in the code, so they're just loading it before so that it can stretch out. I mean, not stretch out, but yeah.
That's going to break some games. Like, think of your Resident Evils and your pre-render backgrounds, your Final Fantasies. You 7, 8, like some of that stuff with the pre-render just obviously will break. But I mean, if the game has the ability to do it, I mean, I think that's anything could. Hell, I mean. Screw it. Just have the games break and just show part of the art of the next screen.
Yeah. Well, I know like a lot of the Sonic ports have done this through the years, but is there a game that you guys would want to see modernized in this? Like one in particular where you're like, man, I love this game, but I wish I could see it. You know what I mean?
Any of those scrolling arcade beat 'em ups or anything in that style could probably benefit from that, especially like if you patch it a bit to add more enemies on the screen. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Marc? I mean, aside from that, I was thinking also like side scrolling, but instead of a beat 'em up, shoot 'em up.
Oh yeah.
Contra,
like R-Type or something.
Yeah.
Man, I had another, but I lost it. But I don't know if Earthworm Jim would benefit from it. I can't remember like how you traverse in those games, if that would really even be beneficial to.
I feel like there were a lot of things with Earthworm Jim where it was single screens at a time, right? Like there'd be a lot of things you'd have to climb up, and it was very much fit into that square section.
Yeah.
So you might end up peeking into more of the edges than you're meant to.
Yeah, I guess like the more horizontal shmups then.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Or
parodious action.
I guess you can't. Would it still be called Shoot 'em Up, or is it Schmideways?
Yeah.
Shout out. Their next project should be the Sega Genesis Jurassic Park, because that you had no idea where the hell you were going in that game. So
yeah, if you
I think any kind of extra help would be great.
That's still like, God, man, that is top 5 moments I wish I had captured on tape. Is Matt discovering the Genesis version of his favorite SNES game.
Wow,
How truly hard. No, that's what you said. You're like, oh my God, you have my favorite game, Jurassic Park.
God, don't. Dude, my favorite Super Nintendo game is Batman Forever. Don't you fucking.
Did I tell you I played that recently?
Without me?
I was testing something on the Mister, some output or something, and I was like, all right, let me see what this works with. And I went to the Genesis games, and I'm scrolling through, like, no. Yeah, that's the one. Let's do that.
Yep. Just can't escape it.
It looks great on a CRT, I'll tell you what.
Probably plays just as well, too.
Yeah. I got further than I remember getting. But
What's that, 3 screens in?
Yeah, that I couldn't do the... Remember we figured out how to... and I couldn't.
Dude, on the Super Nintendo, it was like select L and up. It was ridiculous.
I turned on 6-button mode on the Genesis and still could not...
You probably made it worse. You probably somehow made it worse.
I did, because the punch was Y, but X and Z did nothing, and then A, B, and C all did the same thing. I have no idea. No clue. We're going to get a clue real quick on a quick break, and when we get back, we got some more games to talk about, more news to talk about. A lot of bad news on the back half of the show. Probably. Maybe we'll try and find some good news to pepper in there.
Well,
we'll be right back.
When you label one thing as dying, yeah, that is kind of depressing.
I mean, it is it not?
I mean, yeah, but you could, let it down easy,
Stay tuned to find out who dies right after this. We'll be right back. I remembered a game I wanted to see widescreen. And more than widescreen, though, I want this game to be many-screened. Pokemon Blue. Red and blue. It's fine. You can do both. But do both. That way, as you're walking, you are a teeny tiny little guy on the screen. But the whole... You can just see so much of the map.
We did that. No.
What?
No. We played that Castlevania game.
No. I'm talking about Pokemon.
Okay, but I thought you were going somewhere.
I'm saying the widescreen thing. Let's do that with Pokemon, so that instead of your single Game Boy screen.
I get what you're throwing out. Sorry, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I was about to say we played that game.
No, you're right. That was not a fun experience. But for Pokemon, if you're just kind of wandering and you can see a whole map, that would be kind of cool. And Next. But yeah, you're right. I did also see another game I've continued to play this week has seen widescreen support in a way. So I beat Rondo of Blood. However,
Nice.
I'm at 96% completion.
Uh-oh.
In order to get 100%, you need to collect all 4... not collect. That sounds very weird. Dracula was the one collecting the women. You need to rescue them from Dracula. Straight up! In the thing, Shaft kidnaps Annette, Richter's girlfriend, and he says, you'll make a great pet for Dracula. He wants them to become his little sex slaves. Richter has to save them all from the confines of Dracula's castle. So I did that. I rescued all of them. I went through every stage. I went through all the alternate routes, all the secret routes, beat every boss, and I beat Dracula a second time. I think, from what I've read, because the one stage I'm missing is stage 5 prime. It's like the lower level 5. You only get that by getting all 4, which I did, and then beating Death, and then beating Dracula. So I think I did everything but beat Death, but I don't know if I need to beat Death and then beat Dracula again. I don't know. I'll keep playing through, because this game's so much fun to play. Like, it's just... It's that Dark Souls thing. Like, once you get really good at it and you know what you're doing, you can just kind of zip through a level, and you have a level of familiarity and comfortability that you don't have otherwise. And the cool thing is, I've yet to play as Maria, which I know, Mark, you played some of this a long time ago, and you played as Maria, right?
No.
What am I thinking of? I feel like you
I played as Maria, just not in that game.
Oh.
And
I thought you'd done this one for some reason.
No, I mean, I wanted to, for sure. I mean, if I have, I forgot. So, just keep that in mind. But, I think, Harmony of Dissonance is that multiplayer one?
Yeah, the big...
I would play as young Maria in...
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But I've yet to play as her, so I'm going to play through as her through this one and just see what she plays like, because she's meant to be a lot faster and has way different abilities than Richter does. So I'm looking forward to keep doing that a bit. And because I bought a PC Engine controller. So 8BitDo makes a PC Engine controller, and I bought that. And it's sick. Straight up, if you are looking for a new controller to play your classic games with, here's the downside is it's got the 1 and the 2 button, just like the PC Engine, but it has the turbo buttons above it built into it, just like PC Engine. They can't be mapped to anything else. They literally are programmed at the board level as turbo buttons. So I tried to map them as X and Y for SNES stuff. It is Turbo 1 and Turbo 2. So it's really only good for TurboGrafx 16 and CD, and then NES I can use it for. I guess Game Boy would probably work as well, or any 2-button thing, but no triggers on the top, so I couldn't use it. Nonetheless, it's great for the PC Engine, and it feels great. It's got 8BitDo. They make a heck of a controller. But in the meantime, I also jumped in on PSP. I picked up. It's been a long time since I had just a cheap pair of headphones, so I bought a nice little $10 pair of Sony headphones, and I've got them now for my Vita and my PSP for when I just need nice little whatever. I did that and picked back up Dracula X Chronicles on the PSP, which is the 2007 2.5D remake of Rondo of Blood, and it's crazy. It feels so much like the original game, except just 3D models, which, a lot of times they're creating it and they aim for that feel, but it literally feels like I'm playing that game just with 3D characters on a 2D plane. They've made changes to some of the game's levels, some of the secrets. For the most part, there's a lot that still just play like the original, and a lot of the secrets are still in the exact same spot. But there's new secrets. Like, you might find a thing and you're like, there's a secret back here, right? And then there's a music thing. You unlock music you can listen to in the game. You can also unlock the original Rondo of Blood and the original Symphony of the Night, albeit with modified voice acting and different voice script. So it's a little different. But yeah, it makes me want to... I tried a couple weeks back to find my component cables for my PSP, and I don't know where they are. So I got to keep digging in one of these boxes. But I want to do that and plug it into the TV and play this on the TV. Or maybe I could probably just plug in that PlayStation TV. I can do something, but it's cool, man. When I first played it, I kind of didn't like it, but now that I've played through Rondo and now I'm on the other side of it, I like this game a lot. Did you guys ever play Dracula Chronicles?
I might have borrowed it when I worked at GameStop, but I don't remember too much. I didn't have a PSP for a long time. Had it for less than a week and dropped it not even a foot and cracked the screen. It's all right, well, this is fun.
Shuhei. It's it does the widescreen thing, so it does kind of reimagine Rondo at a widescreen interpretation. It's cool. The music's really cool, redone and a lot more orchestral, but still has its own flavor to it. I think they both complement each other really well. It's a really, really well-made package that I did not expect to have that much depth to it. Even the original Rondo, dude, so many secrets just buried within that game. I keep going back to it, and I can replay the same levels over and over. It does not get boring. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing. Normally I'm ready to move on at this point, but it's just so much fun to play through.
Well, now it makes me think, Well, it seems like Richter definitely deserved its spot in Smash Brothers then, even though it's he's an Echo Fighter, but
Yeah.
just that representation, I didn't realize like how big of a character that was. And then just from hearing you talk about it, it seems like, yeah, other than like the NES Castlevania, this is like Richter's like the Street Fighter 2 of Castlevania or something.
Yeah, like I kind of had that same revelation this week playing through it. I was like, oh no, I'm very happy that they went with him for, like, of all the Belmonts to add in, like Richter makes a lot of sense to put into the game. Especially because like it's the Dracula X Chronicles, because you had Dracula X, Rondo of Blood, and then you had Symphony of the Night, a direct sequel to it. And this is it was one story. And the neat thing that I've found out as I've dug into the timeline of Castlevania, as you do, is they've done a lot of retconning and they've done some weird stuff. But at some point, Alucard sleeps with Sonia Belmont and they have a kid, and that kid becomes, somewhere in the lineage, Alucard is the Belmont clan is the direct descendants of Alucard and another Belmont. And then it keeps going down from there. Like they start off really early on fighting Dracula, then they splinter off and whatever. Then Alucard comes back. They meet in the middle, the family tree. So they're all.
So
this whole.
What Kojima wasn't too far off then.
Yeah,
with that story.
But yeah, they've retconned some of that stuff. But yeah, Richter is he rules, and Richter's going to be a part of the next Netflix show too. So I think if you're looking for Rondo of Blood, you should probably pick it up now before it gets too expensive, before that Netflix show hits.
Yeah.
I know one of the cool things that was announced at E3 this year is Limited Run Games got the rights to do physical reprints of the original PC Engine CD. So I might pick one of those up, even though I don't have an actual PC Engine, but I still think it's cool. Yeah, and speaking of games that we're playing nonstop and can't stop playing, Matt, you've gone what I believe is, where are you at now? Which rank are you in Pokemon Unite?
An expert class 4.
Nice. Expert class. So it's beginner, great, expert,
veteran, ultra, the master, I think.
I thought it was professor at the end, but yeah, okay. Who's your main?
I have been sticking with my support role of Eldegoss.
And how has the game shifted for you in the last week?
I can definitely say as I've gone up the ranks, the gameplay itself has gotten competitive, better. Just over like either people are picking up the mobile aspects, or I'm running into the people that already knew the mobile aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's refreshing, but I think now the problem is I'm hitting that point where I might be starting to run into some pay to win players. I don't know what happened last night, but I kept running into Zeroras that just melted me, and that Pokemon is a very good character. I'm not just saying, like, they can probably melt you anyway, but it seemed like it was faster than usual. So I don't know if some of those held items, I'm starting to get into the people that have really found their, what items to optimize and have leveled them up, whether they've done it organically or through paying to increase those levels. But I don't know. I think I'm starting to run into some of that. But yeah, but also though, I'm still running into some dumb players. Like, some people are way overcommitting for fights that they shouldn't be taking. I found a incredible combo duo in a lane that makes me want to get a Wigglytuff really bad. That weird, you see, this is my lack of Pokemon knowledge. That weird bird that's eating the fish. Talon?
Cramorant?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. If you get Wigglytuff to sing, he puts you to sleep, and then that Cramorant does that whirlpool circle thing and just melts you. So I've been starting to see some of the high level team building aspects of it as well. But the problem the number one problem with this game, Zapdos still means way too much. And I mean, like, way too much. We were getting demolished by, like, 450 points one game. We win Zapdos, and then we win by, like, 200 points. There is no reason why. I mean, I think some of that people were banking on the way. Like, people were banking and then going to Zapdos. I think that's where some of those points come in. But, like, still, like, we had no business winning that game. We got lucky in a team fight because I don't think the rest of their team showed. Like, I think, like, 3 of their members showed up while they were. It might have been, like, like, some of them were dead or whatever. But, like, we focused on the team fight of Zapdos and we turned the game around and won. So they got to do something to balance Zapdos. And I don't know if it's kind of...
Well, because it's not just that Zapdos opens the goals, but it's that last final bit doubles your points. So
right.
If you hang on to points, take out Zapdos, I mean, you can easily just swing the other way.
So that's what you start to ask yourself, right? Like, do you take away the doubling of points so late in the game so that way the early game matters a little bit more? Or does it take a little... Like, you unlock it, right? But does it take 2 seconds instead of no time to bank? Instead of, if you have 50 balls, like, it's taking, 8 seconds or whatever? It's probably less than that, but what it feels like. Something needs to be addressed with that. The meta, honestly, there's definitely Gengar, Zeraora, I think that new plant character, all little fucking overpowered, but there are ways to play around them in certain aspects. So it's not totally broken. The broken part is we dominate for 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes really. We lose a Zapdos fight and it's over. There's nothing you can kind of do. You can quickly try to defeat the teams that they drop all the Aeos energy or balls, whatever they call the actual banking thing, but it's so quick because usually you lose the team fight to get the Zapdos. That's how they got the Zapdos, right? You lost a team fight. So no one's alive to stop anyone. So they just go and scatter and score points, and just like that, they win a game. And there's no time to rebound, or there's no second zap. They're like, it's nothing. So I think something needs to be done with that. And like I said, I'm fine with Zapdos mattering. I just think like you need to, like if someone is defending the goal in a way it's 1-on-1, like that 1-on-1 should not be an easy dunk and then you just die. Like, make it be a 2-on-1 to take out that Pokemon, and then like a quick 1 second or 2 second wait to bank. The Zapdos fight means way too much right now, and it's kind of frustrating. Like I've been on both ends of it, right? Like I've been up 500 and won the Zapdos fight and like absolutely demolished a team. I've been getting my ass kicked, won a Zapdos fight, won a game. But then there's the games where, like, we got dominate, lost Zapdos fight. All right, yeah, we deserve that. But then the one that sucks the most, of course, is the one where you've dominated for 8.5 minutes. You don't know the score, of course, but you can just tell by where the gates are. Like, you're probably up at least 300. And it all just goes away in a blink of a second because of a bad play or a misplay or someone was dead at the wrong time or whatever. So,
yeah, because then the meta becomes, okay, let's just grind our character levels up so we're super strong and then be the first ones to Zapdos at the end.
Well, that's what's happened. Dreadnought is the more important neutral kill. The Rotom, he doesn't matter. Like, that's 20 Aeos points and an easy unlocking a gate for 40 extra means nothing when if you get the Dreadnought, you get the level bump. You probably gain a whole level, which is, an instantaneous level on top of your opponent, which then means you have better moves, you're, more attack speed, like that kind of stuff. And then it makes it that much easier to win the one important fight at the end of the game. It feels more like an RTS in a way, right? Where you're building these bases in your community, and you're just trying to raise the army for one big fucking conquer of the other teams, like command posts and all that. And it feels almost more like that than an actual MOBA, where in Dota, like, if I lose the laning phase in Dota, there are ways to come back, but it's a tough and steep way to come back. But, you put yourself in that scenario because you lost the lane. In this game, we can lose 2 lanes, but as long as we farm the jungle or our areas well enough, and we get lucky in a team fight, or we have a better team composition, we win Zapdos and we win the game. That's the state of the game, and it's fine for right now, but it's tiring and frustrating.
So yeah,
times.
are you yelling at the game more or less now that you've played and ranked
I don't
up?
yell. I don't really yell that much during the first 8 minutes. It's just I yell a lot louder at the last 2 minutes.
Is that where this game ultimately burns out for you, or?
Well, that's the dumb thing, right? I'm not burned out of it. I like this game a lot. It's just they need to tweak that last part. If they tweak that last part, I think this is. I'm not going to say it's borderline better than any of the more established MOBAs because there's just so much there, right? And this is like
and they've changed through the years too. They've implemented new systems and yeah.
But this could be a very competitive and long-lasting MOBA. But I think right now you're going to start to run into. I think people that have gotten their hands wet and are starting to get it are now starting to match with the more competitive people, which is probably going to be a turnoff. And then I think there's going to become a realization that, it's just one fight that matters. I have to wait 8 minutes to do it. Why can't I just do it in 2 minutes and make these games even shorter, right? So I think you're going to have your audience slowly fall off as they realize it's only about the last 2 minutes.
Marc, did you play any more Pokemon Unite this week?
I have not.
I think I did like 2 games maybe. I tried a little bit. But yeah, I kind of fell out too. I jumped in, I leveled up. I forget which items I had, the muscle band and something else. I leveled them up as best I could with the resources I had before they all ran out. But yeah, I think I just ended up prioritizing other things. But I'm
still interested in it. I just
yeah,
haven't.
me too. And I know they're adding Blastoise. I think Gardevoire's now in the game.
Yes, that's the new one. Like I said, she's probably not S tier, but probably an A easily. Blastoise is going to come in as another tank defender, probably like a Snorlax. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But then there's a third one that will be coming shortly, but they haven't revealed yet.
Yeah, who it is.
Any
hopes?
I don't know. I mean, I know the original 151. I would like another support. But I don't know how much other supports you do in a 10-minute game.
Yeah. Bring in Chandelure.
Right. Why don't have a fucking nose pass? Does he even move?
Yeah.
Does he have legs?
The mid evolution does.
Great.
Got little stumpy legs.
Yeah. They did patch the game one time for aforementioned plant lady waifu chick.
Oh yeah, Gardevoir. Yeah.
Yeah. Patched it for her. They said they fixed a couple bugs and a Charizard bug, but nothing. No balancing, at least not yet. So I think they're still waiting to see how the meta shakes out. Which, it's shaking out. There's definitely high-powered Pokemon right now, but it's still somewhat healthy. I'm not seeing Gengar every single game yet.
You know what? That's what it was. I was like, why did I fall off it? Because I got into one game where somebody played Gengar before I could pick him, and I was like, all right, I'll play Pikachu, I guess. And then I was like, I'm out.
But Gengar's so easy, right? He does, this, if you know what I'm talking about, like he does Sludge Bomb and Hex because of the way that Hex feeds off a Sludge Bomb. But
yeah,
you almost know when he appears, you just kind of guess that he has it. So I use eject button as my like usable item. I just try to eject button away from the Sludge Bomb. Like I'm because I know the Pokemon, I play around what I know he's gonna do. So you're gonna like I said, there are ways to play around it, but it is once he does get you, it is the most frustrating thing. You just melt. You're disintegrating.
I never got a chance to go back and after you told me that strategy, I never tried that out with him. I did. I was always doing Hex and Spirit Bomb or whatever the ghosty one was, not the Sludge Bomb, but yeah.
I don't play the optimum Eldegoss. I take the more offensive, the Tornado Leaf thing.
I like that. I like that you can play this how you want to play it to an extent while still fitting the role, right?
Yeah, I mean for Eldegoss, probably the cotton shield thing is a must because that's the thing that gives you a health buff for the entire team. But no, I like that attack. I like the aspect of attack, and I think it ends up surprising people because meta it's what it is, and then when I pull out this offensive attack and it bursts someone down, they're not I think it surprises people when I pull that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of that, and the meta, like I said, is the third time said it now, but it's healthy-ish.
Good. I'm glad the game's doing well.
The Zapdos is the bloodsucker.
Yeah, I'm glad that one's doing well. I'm glad it came out this year. Did not get delayed. However, the same could not be said for the preferred digital monsters. Bandai Namco and developer Witchcraft have delayed Digimon Survive. The company now lists release of Digimon Survive for PlayStation 4 and Switch 2022 under the fiscal year 2022 Q3 and beyond section of its fiscal plans. Fiscal year 2022, for the record, ends March 31st, 2022, so there's a chance we see the game released before then, unless there's further delays. But yeah, this was originally scheduled for, was it always this year, or was it 2020 and then slipped to 2021 and now quietly delayed to 2022?
Yeah, the latter.
Yeah. It's a bummer, but hey, man, if things are still weird. I mean, the Olympics have no audience. Like, they're still.
Yeah, it's just weird. Also, like the way that we had to find out about it.
Right.
Like for the longest time, there has been no news on this game. Everyone is so worried that this is never going to come out, and rightfully so. It's just weird that like Bandai has had multiple events where they had chances to say anything about it. They could have shown the same trailer again and just changed the date on it or something, right? And we would have been okay with that. And yeah, like I hope it lives to its name. I really do. But like I'm really curious on why it's been delayed. Like they haven't really said really as to like what's going on. I mean, I can imagine obviously the obvious that would affect it, like most games in development around this time. But I'm wondering if they're like reworking the game at all, if they're redoing art assets. I remember they were kind of doing stuff with that before, but I feel like a lot of the game is probably a lot of voice work too. So I'm wondering if they even got that done yet, or what.
Or they saw the massive success of Pokemon Unite and like, we're doing a MOBA now.
Oh God.
Hey, if it sticks to the art style, I'm okay with it.
I played Digimon MOBA too. Well, Digimon Survive will have company in the first quarter of 2022 because we've also heard, now this is yet to be officially confirmed, but sources close to it.
It's being confirmed by Schreier.
I mean, that's as official as official. I know, but like PlayStation has not said this as of this recording. News first broke during Giant Bomb's Grub Snack show, where reporter Jeff Grubb mentioned the possibility of a delay. On Friday, Bloomberg reported that the game will be delayed to the first quarter of 2022. Horizon Forbidden West has been delayed, no longer releasing this fall. This follows comments from Herman Hulst in June, where head of PlayStation Studios implied that the release date was on track but uncertain for holiday 2021, and now this is all but confirmed.
Schreier said it.
Fair. So does this mean that Microsoft has the lock on games releasing this fall?
Okay, all right. So Horizon is Forza Horizon is probably the lock, right? Right? I mean, we've seen so much of that game at this point.
I'm also talking about the PlayStation side of things too. Microsoft's Bethesda's Deathloop is your big fall exclusive now for PlayStation, is it not?
I forgot about that game. Yeah, I guess so. Because
Deathloop,
there's nothing else.
You got Forza Horizon. You hopefully have Halo Infinite.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, all right, so you asked that question. and sure, a car game, like a AAA release, it's going to be very good for Microsoft, especially with their library of games, first party from them right now, right? But it's a car game at the end of the day. While they're nice and flashy, they could really benefit from Halo coming out this year. And I don't know. I mean, the technical test is happening as we speak. That even got delayed a little bit. But, I mean, that's going on as we speak. I have not looked, at the time of recording, I've not looked into much of that gameplay because I kind of want to be surprised when I go into it. But I haven't heard anything terrible about it, at least. Except mouse and keyboard might have aim assist. That was something that popped up on my Twitter feed. That would be weird if that had it. Anyway, for the most part, that's been fine. But like, I have no just with Horizon. I've been saying it for months. Like, I have no confidence in that game coming out this year. I don't have much. I have a little bit more confidence, but it's not much more. Halo makes it this year.
No, did Microsoft have any other games coming this fall?
I don't remember. Horizon seems to be their guy unless they align. Are they kind of doing? Are they the showcase console for Battlefield 2042?
I don't know.
Because I feel like if they align themselves that way, and then PS5 gets Call of Duty, like that helps their libraries look better, right? But
sure,
I don't know.
Like, I know Xbox is getting Hades. I know, but that's not really like a first party thing. Psychonauts 2 is August, but that's like too early to be a fall thing.
I mean, I don't think Psychonauts is that huge AAA project. I think it's at the same level as Ori. It's this cool, neat, possibly AA indie. I mean, it's indie-ish. It has an indie feel to it, right? But like, I don't see them pounding the drum for Psychonauts 2 like they could for Halo.
True. I did not realize that the Addams Family has a video game coming out this fall, so stay tuned for hot reporting on that one.
Like, based on the movie?
I don't worry, I've got it open in a new tab to look into this more, but yeah, I mean, like, Back 4 Blood's out this fall, but again, that's multi-platform. Battlefield 2042. You've got Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Riders Republic, but like all of these, Fatal Frame, they're all third party. Forza and Halo seem to be the big ones. Like, so if Halo slips,
this is the thing they can do though to make up for it, which is something that PlayStation can't do, right? Not these deals are probably done months in advance, of course, but they can always make a big splash with a Game Pass third party game.
Sure.
They can always do that, and it can be. I think it's too early. Maybe like next fall, I can see them doing this, but something like a Cyberpunk, right? It's probably had its initial sales. It's gone through some development hell. It could benefit for something like this, and it's like a mutual benefit, right? And then at that point, they could release, if it's ready, they could release like a Series X enhanced edition for Cyberpunk, which has been delayed because of all the issues with the previous gen consoles. Yeah. Something like that could be a big splash for Xbox in the fall. PlayStation can't do that.
I had a dream about Cyberpunk the other night that it got canceled. They were just like, "Hey, we canceled the game. It's not coming out now." And everyone was like, no, it already came out. I already paid for it. And like, no, that didn't happen. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I had that dream. Not sure.
I mean, it happened for the Xbox One S and baseline PS4 users.
True. Mark, this is based on the movie. It is a 3D platformer that I'm going to buy because I need more like 3D platformers based on movie property. Like, it looks decent, but
will they take advantage like of widescreen support? Like, will this also get that hack?
For listeners, by movie, I meant the most recent, like, animated
yeah,
sequel. whatever.
Yeah, it looks like it's got up to 4-player co-op. Or you're
Sure.
swapping between 4 characters. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
Either
better than Guardians of
way-
the Galaxy.
True.
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 Could've
Anyway,
just been
so
Adam
that's
Jensen,
that
but nope, we fucked that one up.
Horizon has been delayed. So there's your story on that one. Meanwhile, Smilegate, the company behind Crossfire, the very popular.
Highly anticipated.
Well, you're thinking Crossfire X, but
Right.
Crossfire already released in South Korea and has earned developer Smilegate more than $10.5 billion with a buh. So they've taken part of that $10.5 billion and invested more than $100 million in a new AAA game development studio, That's No Moon Entertainment. The new studio includes talent from Infinity Ward, Naughty Dog, PlayStation's Visual Arts Group, and Electronic Arts, among more. The studio aims to deliver a best-in-class AAA video game. A lot of faces here at this one. A lot of buzz behind this game and this here investment.
There's a
How
lot of
do you
genres here too.
Yeah, like I saw like some Destiny thrown around, some Uncharted, some. Yeah, there's been a lot of work on Call of Duty. Like there's been all over the place. I don't know what direction they're gonna take in making a game, but this is another example though. Like the call out of the PlayStation Visual Arts Group head is now part of this studio. So we're seeing like more. And folks from Naughty Dog, like we're seeing more departures from within Sony. We're seeing delays within Sony. Do you think that, and this is like after we saw the Japan studio stuff happen earlier this year and all of that, a lot of the rife that we heard via the aforementioned Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, how does this affect PlayStation's internal studios?
I think the narrative just keeps going, right? Like, I think it took a few years, but you saw these big names break off of their development house where they got their name, go indie and have a lot of success. And I think you're going to see a lot of these big names start to see that and be like, well, I can do that too. Go indie and make their own project. And maybe it's the project they always wanted to make that. Not that they couldn't, but there's elements they probably couldn't put into a game or whatever that a bigger studio exec said, no, focus on multiplayer. So I think as we see more and more success from the indie scene and all these big names breaking off and doing their own thing, I just think the whole industry is going that way where you're going to have so many of these big publishers at the top, and then you're going to have all these indies kind of at the bottom, and you might have one or two middleware guys, aka Koch Media and fucking THQ Nordic.
Yeah. Do you think that that That's No Moon is the next Respawn?
Could be.
Or do we find more of a PUBG or you know, I guess it depends on like what is their game going to be. But yeah, I mean
that's a lot of money.
I think Respawn's say what?
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but I think Respawn's, you know, kind of the most recent example of this where you had people from AAA studios who left, started a thing, and then got funding from a big investor like EA. We're seeing that here again, but this kind of like seeing departures from bigger studios and then kind of going back to the Horizon thing. How many games do you feel like a first party should put out in a calendar year to make it feel worthwhile to have that console? I think, well, I'll let you go.
I was going to say the Microsoft approach of once a quarter, like have one big staple, boom, for their fiscal quarter, and they talk about the sales of that game or how that affected Game Pass. I think that's fair if you have enough studios. Yeah.
I was going to say Game Pass has kind of outlined that for us now at this point, right? Where you kind of factor up like how much would I be spending on these games versus how much I'm spending on Game Pass, and that kind of like puts it out.
Because, I mean, you can do the thing. I just think at one point, like the Switch launch, remember that. There was one marquee AAA first-party game for every month almost that rest of that year. And then
it was literally that whole year. And if
then
it wasn't a first party Nintendo, then it was a
like
third
a party. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then the well dried up badly. But we're starting to see this fall. I mean, there's some third party stuff that I want to play that's mixed in there. But this fall is loaded for Switch again.
Is it?
But I mean, there's stuff I want to play. I mean, I'm going to be playing on my Switch this year, so there's that.
All I can think of is Mega 10.5 and the heck's the other one?
Metroid.
Oh, right, duh. Yeah, see? I forgot.
It was like, I want to play the Danganronpa games, Reloaded on that, right? Like, there was a couple other things. There was, Shin Megami Tensei.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's that, and Metroid.
I mean, there's stuff coming that I'm going to be on my Switch this fall, which was more than last year, right? But
true.
But you look at, now granted this was a bad year for PlayStation because of the outage, but like look at that year. They pumped out a game every year and none of that sold. I mean, there's probably a plethora of reasons, marketing, the outage, maybe the quality of the games, but like they pumped out a game, I think like one every month that year, and it didn't do them that good. So I think letting your stuff breathe and the amount of studios you have and trying to organize all of that just to have a steady outflow, I think once a quarter is a very fair attempt to keep stuff coming, but let things breathe and let your studios have time.
Mark, what do you think? How many games? What's the magic number?
I'd say a minimum of 3
annually.
Whether the 2 out of the 3 are like, not that grand of scale, but still something. As long as one of them is like a big hitter, I think that keeps it okay.
What has been the best year for first-party games that you can remember in recent memory?
Oh, man. There's a couple good years, but for some reason, my instinct thought was like 97.
Oh, you're going back that far.
I'm listening.
I'm not sure if it's 97, but like whenever the year that like Final Fantasy VII came out and Ocarina of Time came out.
I think Ocarina was 98.
Yeah, so like somewhere around there. But there was also like early 2000s there were some good years out of that too. Like I feel like, I want to say like the earlier 2000s, there were some decent years for that too. I'm not good with times, but
yeah, I mean, in a way, Horizon being delayed, like it's definitely atypical in the wake of last year and the continued interruption, but this is not that far off from what we're used to with new consoles.
Yeah, but like,
it's a little worse, but generally speaking, like new consoles, it's usually that fall after is pretty good, but it's the one after, it's like 2 years after launch is when everything's kind of like, oh, dude.
Yeah, like to me, I probably, you know what, the PS2 era, like Xbox and GameCube, like it just seemed like games were just coming out left and right, especially on PS2. And then 360, PS3 came around, and Wii, and it was like still a decent flow, but like it felt like the hits hit harder that time around. Like they felt like they had more impact when they were announced and came out. And now it's like it just has, it's just gradually slowed down since and has been minimized.
And I think so many things now get muted because of like the sheer volume of things that come out. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot. But thankfully, every now and then companies come along and they kill a game so that we don't have to worry about playing it and getting in the way of things coming out. Like Nintendo did very quietly this week, announced on Wednesday in a blog post on the official website for the game that Dr. Mario World would end its service later this year. This came on July 28th, 2021 with the title End of Service Notice. Thank you for playing the Dr. Mario World game. The Dr. Mario World game service will end on November 1st, 2021, a Monday. we would like to extend our sincere thanks to everyone who has played the game since it began service on July 10th, 2019. Around the world, Matt Sellners began to cry. Will the tears of Matt be enough to bring Dr. Mario back to life? Mark, are we going to get a Dr. Mario on Switch?
Probably not. Or, like, if you do, it's going to be, like, Dr. Mario 99 or something.
Do one of the... that might not be bad, actually.
Isn't the Dr. Mario from SNES already on, or NES on the thing?
NES should be on that service,
Dude,
yeah.
you got it.
You'd rather play that than this mobile? You were having fun. This is, like, your mobile game.
I think I've said from the beginning this game is garbage. But is my garbage?
You have.
So...
Sure.
My reaction was like, well, what the fuck? Like, I wasn't
Why not
mad.
just leave it up?
But yeah, I wasn't like mad. I was just like, oh, 3 months when I play this game, it's gonna be fucking gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it came
Now
in
you know
spurts.
how
I would
Marc
play for like a
feels.
month, and then it would go away for 6, and then it comes back. It's dumb. There was so much currencies. The menus were a mess. It's not Pokemon Unite mess, but
Yeah.
they were a mess. Why can't you just keep... This is the part I don't understand. Why not let me open the app? Like, if you have worlds, just, all right, great. You don't want to push for currency anymore. Just, you have the worlds,
Yeah.
just let me download them. I'm fine with this game being 10 gigs if it gives me all fucking 58,000 worlds or whatever. Just let me have that option.
I wonder if they're gonna, like, if this is the first sign of them withdrawing a bit from the mobile world, the mobile space, and moving more into just focusing on Switch.
What was that? What was their original IP? For
Dragalia Lost?
Yeah, where's that at? Why is
That's
that
still
game
out there. Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing
Yeah.
are both still out there making money.
So,
so-
exactly. They canceled the one that's fucking no one's playing because it was garbage.
Sure, fair. Is there another one, Mark? Do we get another mobile app?
Maybe. I mean, I don't see it happening, but
Which Oh, and Mario Kart's still out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Animal
What's the
Crossing's
next
still out
property? Who?
Animal Crossing's still out there.
Yeah. Pocket Camp.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna stick to my minecart thought and go with Donkey Kong. It's going to be probably like similar to the GameCube platformer where you had to use the bongos,
Okay.
but this will be a rhythm game. But it,
Sure.
you know, you will still you'll traverse through the level via rhythm of the music.
If they could
percussive.
rip off Patapon.
Patapon.
Yeah, rip off Patapon and put a Donkey Kong skin on it, man. I'm in
I would play that. I would play that in a
Fully.
heartbeat.
fully.
Or make Dr. Mario World 2 and have the little viruses fucking dance around.
Make them, yeah. You have to go infect things.
I don't actually. Maybe. I never thought about that. Do you think COVID killed Dr. Mario?
Maybe. Oh, you mean because so many people are home and they have other ways to play
I'm
good
just
games
saying,
on their phone?
I don't think doctors and viruses and prescription medicine is as a hot topic right now, at least in the United States.
Potentially.
I think I found a
It could've.
conspiracy theory. Put on my Dale
It
Gribble
could've.
hat and my fucking sunglasses.
Yeah. Get the Xbox theme playing. Well, one final news story is a game that I definitely do want to play. Developer Jupiter announced a launch date for Picross S Mega Drive and Mark III edition. The game launches, that's right, this Thursday, August 5th at $9.99. It will feature over 59 different Sega titles, artwork in its puzzles, and have a total of 480 puzzles to play through. Who's with me day one?
I have so many Picross games that I never play, but I might be there with you.
Yes, that's the right answer. Mark?
How much is it?
$10.
I'll give it a sniff.
Boom. That's 3 copies, Sega. You see what happens when people make the right call, make a good game? People buy it. Well, that's what I'm going to be playing this week, in addition to some PC Engine video games with that new controller. I got one I started this week called, I think it's called Basted. It's Basted. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why it's called that, but I'm playing it. It's kind of like Zelda 2. You're wandering through an overworld top down, and then when you get into battles, it goes into a different screen for the battle. But the actual battles are kind of like one single screen, and you're moving around fighting the things as they come at you. I'm trying to think of like a good example of that. It's
Tales games are like that.
Yeah, okay, it's a bit like that. But dude, PC Engine CD games have the most incredible looking artwork. Like, there's a lot of FMV stuff at play, and they do a lot of really cool anime cutscene stuff, and I'm having a fun time exploring this whole library. It's my new obsession. So I'm gonna be lost in that stuff this week among my throws at Dark Souls and more. I've still poked a little bit at Yakuza. I've got Wreckfest installed. I've got some stuff installed I want to check out. But yeah, what about you guys? Mark, what are you hopping into?
Here and there, I've been playing Contagion.
What's Contagion?
It's a PC game. It's a zombie co-op shooter. But it's more like slow. It's more like slower paced. It's a little more methodical to it. It's preferred to play with people, but I've been doing single player and just trying to escape on my own. And it's just it's pretty cool. Like, you don't have to worry about special infected and stuff. Just zombies going through a big map, backtracking a little bit. Yeah, that's basically it. But I like it.
Nice.
So I've been dipping in that here and there, but I think later in the week I'm definitely going to be trying out the early access beta for Back 4 Blood.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into that one when the public one hits later this month. I hope it's everything that you've been waiting for, because it's been a long time coming.
I hope the beta is playable. I hope the servers don't just like crash and then can't play it for like a couple days.
Yeah,
it'll be 18 hours. You'll be back up hour 19. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Matt, are you going to spend 19 hours in Pokémon Unite?
Maybe. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. Now that the Zapdos thing is really getting on my fucking nerves, but you know, I'm itching to play it still. That's the fucked up part. I gotta go back to Dark Souls, right? At some point. I mean,
yeah.
Man's Wharf's calling my name, even though I can go another way, but it seems like the wrong way. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna get into. I'm still hitting fucking balls over fences and baseball. I've been doing that. That's still mindlessly fun. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Nice. We got a week ahead of us. Hopefully we'll get some fun surprises along the way. And
I guess Picross. I might at least dabble in that,
yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, that is going to do it for us. If you like this episode, you can find it and the rest of them on thefreecheese.com. Podcast at thefreecheese.com is an email address. Twitter addresses, somefreecheese, og_mental, mattyice131. That's it. We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. Have a great week. Goodbye.